Hi everybody, and happy Veterans Day.
Also 8th anniversary of Skyrim Day.
Yes. So we do want to obviously thank all of our veterans for all of their hard work and sacrifice. But also, side note, I worked at GameStop on this day when Skyrim was released. And yeah, 11/11/11. I still have one of the promo posters in my attic. So,
Excuse me, I'll be coughing a little bit. I'm sick.
yeah, Ranger is sick, and I was like, well, you don't have to come for the stream because you're dying. And he was like, no, because we love you all. So, we're working on the new page today, and you guys are going to see some of my unusually early creative process because I've had a very bad week, and then what work I got done on it up and deleted itself. So, we're a little bit behind, but that's okay.
Actually, could you open the Telmacon pin?
Oh, yes.
Let everyone have a look at that, too.
1 second, guys. All right. So, as you know, we are coming up on Atomicon. Oh, pardon me. Atomicon, and we're going to be there selling merch and other cool stuff. I'm going to make sure I open the right one. One of the things that is going to be con exclusive is going to be a pin featuring this art that was made exclusively for Atomicon 2019, as you can probably see. And it's going to be, I believe, exclusive. It's going to be an exclusive pin to the con, and I think if you join our Patreon within the week of con, this will be included in your pledge.
Con starts Friday the 22nd, and you have until the next Friday.
Yep.
And you will, anyone who joins the Patreon will get an Atomicon pin, and anyone who refers a friend will get the Cheshire and the Atomicon pin.
Yep. And I think, did we decide if you up your pledge during the con?
Yes,
that
and
counts
also
as well?
if you up your pledge to the next level above where you're at, minimum $5.
Yeah. Because that's what it takes to even get pins to mail to you. So.
But if you up your pledge a whole tier, you will also get the exclusive Atomicon 2019 pin.
Yeah. And, maybe one day these will be a really cool series of collectibles, because Atomicon is the first ever con that we have been accepted at as vendors. And so it's kind of our start. And so I was really excited to do some art with their logo, and a sea turtle is their symbol, which makes sense because Charleston's on the beach. And apparently the staff really liked the artwork and have been excited about it. So, hopefully we'll be there in 2020 as well.
Yep, they actually asked us to promote our pin on their pages.
Yeah.
I don't think any of their other vendors have really done something like that, so I think they were very excited to see their turtle.
Gosh.
Because, everyone likes turtles.
Everyone likes turtles.
I like turtles.
Like, how can you not like turtles? I mean, so I really badly want to play one day a merfolk druid. And I would love for my animal companion to either be like a sea turtle or like a giant octopus, because that's so rad. And I would have a very hard time choosing between the two, but because I love octopi, not for the hentai reasons people are thinking.
Well, I had two pets that I called mine as a child, a hedgehog and a box turtle. And my box turtle lived in a 50-gallon terrarium, and I cleverly named him Mr. Turtle.
Fair enough.
And I loved him.
Was not your hedgehog Mr. Hoggles?
Yes, there's a theme.
Yes.
And they both wore top hats and little bow ties.
This is 100% acceptable, and I love it. I have never owned a turtle because I never really was allowed to own my own specific pet besides like a cat or a dog until I was old enough to buy them for myself. Because my mom was like, no, I'm not dealing with terrariums. I'm not doing tank maintenance. I'm not having a snake in the house, yada, yada, whatever have you. And when I was old enough to, buy pets on my own or make those decisions for myself, I kind of realized, like, oh, I don't want to get a turtle because it's going to outlive me.
We had kind of an interesting story about how we came about this turtle. Both of my pets actually came about through interesting stories, but the turtle, we had, my parents bought us a terrapin, water turtle.
Okay.
And our neighbors were watching them while we were gone, and they mysteriously disappeared. And they felt really bad.
So they went and stole you a box turtle from...
Well, their dad worked on construction sites or something. I don't really remember this part too well. It was a long time ago. But he found a turtle. And he was like, I felt so bad, and we found this turtle, and I know it's not the same, but here's a turtle.
and every wildlife rescuer's head explodes.
Well, we had him checked out by the BLM.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a protected turtle, and so they said you may keep him. Because in St. George, Utah, if it's a desert tortoise, that stuff's hot. You give that to the BLM as soon as you can, or they will give you a felony charge.
They'll come after you, right?
But anyway, he was too small, and so he turned out to be just a little box turtle. And they, the terrapin had been my sister's, but she didn't want the box turtle. She was just like, one turtle does not replace another. This makes me sad. And I was like, I love him.
That's fair.
Mr. Turtle.
Even though he's a tortoise.
So yeah. But he lived in this terrarium for a long time, and we moved to a house with an upper pool, a waterfall, and a lower rock pool. They were rock pools, not like swimming pools.
That's freaking rad.
It was, and we bought this house on a foreclosure. My mom loved it. It was this incredible deal. And everything in it was stripped away. Like, the people who had been foreclosed on cut out all the fixtures and all the stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And so we got the house for dirt cheap, right? And even though it has this rad front yard. And, anyway, my mom was like, Mr. Turtle is always sitting in his water dish? We're like, yeah, isn't that weird for what's supposed to be a desert turtle? And she's like, yeah, it's weird. And so one day she was just like, we're dumb. He clearly loves the water. And we put him outside, and he jumped in the water. He just jumped right in. He was like, screw the desert. I'm jumping in this water. And he lived there.
Same Mr. Turtle.
He lived there for months, and we just watch him. It was cool. You just sit by the edge of this pool, and he'd be walking along the bottom. He'd root out some water grub, chew them, come back out, and he had a little den.
So rad.
But then one day he was just gone, and we think someone stole him.
What is with people in Utah and stealing turtles?
Because a month and a half later,
I know how this story ends. It makes me
his
sad.
poor little dead body was dumped back in our yard. It was really sad.
So they stole him, didn't take good enough care of him, and then were like, whoops, and just pretended.
It couldn't have been that he wandered off and came back. It was like a month and a half later.
No, and also he's not going to wander from his den.
His den? Because it was cool. You just go in there and he carved out. He didn't carve out of the rock that was already there, but he pushed dirt away. Mm-hmm. So he had this little rock den. He would just sit there with his butt to the world. So he was a crotchety old water turtle.
Right.
But it was wonderful. Yeah, he was my favorite pet. The Mr. Hog was my hedgehog. That was my favorite pet. But my sister had a lot of pets, and those were the ones that I loved, the turtle and the...
Wow, I should never have erased her mouth, because now I keep drawing it worse and wrong.
So that's my really long story about my turtle.
Considering the length of stories that I tell, that's actually not a very long story.
Well, weird ways that I get my pets. I got my hedgehog because this lady my mom knew down the street, they were friends. Her son moved away and left his hedgehog, and she was like, I don't want his hedgehog.
What a piece of shit.
What am I supposed to do with it? And my mom was like, Morgan, would you like a hedgehog? That's an unusual pet. And I was like, I would love him. I'll love him forever. And so I did extra chores and stuff until I earned the $40 this lady wanted for the hedgehog, and she gave me the hedgehog.
I have less unusual stories, mostly about my pets. Almost all of them are rescues. My first ever ferrets were rescues. They were dumped out of the back of a truck.
It's horrible.
Yeah, on the side of the road. In a, like, gerbil cage. Like...
So way too small for them.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And...
Why would you do that?
Because you're a piece of garbage in Lawrence, South Carolina.
But aren't ferrets expensive?
I suspect they were stolen from someone the person was mad at.
Well, that makes sense. You're right.
But anyway, I brought them home, and that was the beginning of a long journey with ferrets that I have no regrets about, even though many of them broke my heart because they are very fragile animals.
Yeah, we had ferrets. My sister had ferrets.
I super duper loved all my ferrets, and they all had very, very interesting and unique personalities. One of them, excuse me, straight up didn't like me. He was also a rescue, but I actually got him from a ferret rescue, and he had been apparently living also in a cage that was way too small for him, and he had hips that were messed up, and so he walked really differently and a lot more slowly than other ferrets. He didn't really do the hopping thing that ferrets do. He kind of was a very small possum. But he straight up hated me and everyone, and it took a really, really long time to build a bond of trust with him. And what ended up happening is he got worms, and worms, if you don't know, are incredibly dangerous, in fact, usually fatal to ferrets. And so I took him to an emergency vet, and we did a dewormer course, and basically he was like laying there freaking out, and I just basically held him for like 2 straight days while he worked his way through this, and finally did, and he made it, and it was great, and I had to very carefully feed him and water him and etc. And after that, he decided that I was cool. Like, he...
Kind of like Ari.
Yeah, yes. My German Shepherd was also a rescue, and she is neurotic and insane, and I love her dearly, but she's crazy, and she used to dig or climb over my fence all the time. And I have a big fence, okay? I have like an 8-foot chain link fence, but she would find a way. She would either dig under it, or she one time climbed up like a tree that was next to the fence that was leaning and just jumped over it, but she was getting out all the time, and I was always fixing holes in the fence, and I was always chasing after her. Well, one day I'm at work and I get a phone call that she is missing, and so I leave work, I go home, and when I get there, I am told, well, we didn't want to tell you this over the phone, but she actually isn't just missing. She broke out of the fence and got hit by a car and now is missing. And apparently my family thought this would be too stressful for me to hear over the phone. But hey, it was just as stressful to hear right then. And even more so because I was like, I would have come home friggin' soon. Oh my God. Well, anyway, so she got rolled by a car and got terrified and ran off into the woods. And there are a lot of woods around where I live. So I spent many hours searching for her and calling for her. And finally, when I found her, she had a nasty habit of bolting as soon as you caught up to her. But she did not that time. She walked up to me, threw herself down on the ground by my feet, and just didn't move. And I was terrified because I was like, oh my God, she must be so hurt. Like, this poor dog. And this is not a small dog, okay? Like I said, she's a German Shepherd. She weighed about 75 pounds. And I had to pick her up as carefully as possible because I didn't know what kind of organ damage I might be looking at, and carry her out of the woods back out towards the highway where I had called my mom and she picked us up and we ran to the emergency vet again. And it turned out there was absolutely nothing wrong with her. Like, she had one little spot of road rash, and he was like, make sure she pees because she might have bruised her bladder, but no, she's 100% fine. They must have barely nicked her. And she was basically just scared and being a drama queen. But after that moment, she never broke out of the fence again, and now obsessively follows me everywhere all the time, constantly. It doesn't matter if I am showering, if I am going to the bathroom, if I step outside for 10 minutes. I have learned to walk out my doors and like angle my knees to the side because I know she is going to try to barrel her way into my knees to get out the door. And yeah, so I have an interesting history with animals that don't really like me until they have a serious problem, and then they're like, oh, now I get it, you're nice. We had another family dog named Lena. She was a big, fat, adorable Labrador, and I loved her to pieces. But she ran away also a few days after we adopted her because she was actually my dad's boss's dog, and they are pieces of garbage and left her outside her whole life. And then they decided that they were going to move to a bigger, nicer house, but they didn't want to have to deal with putting dog things in their nice new yard. So they were going to get rid of her, and he was like, excuse me? Yeah, I'll take the dog. So he brought home this lab, and the first time he brought her home, she was like terrified to come inside. Like, it was very clear she had a long history of being disciplined for trying to follow people inside. And then once she like realized that was okay, she came inside and she looked at like all of the children who were oohing and awing over her and just like flopped on the ground in front of our fireplace, and that started a very long lifetime of being a fat, lazy Labrador, loved on by many children. But a couple days after we had adopted her, I think she still hadn't quite settled in, and we had this big-ass hole in our picket fence that my mom was always trying to fix that was always having another problem, because we also had goats at the time who kept breaking it. Like, and they didn't even get out, they just deliberately broke it to be pieces of shit. Because they're goats. But, so, she slipped out through there, and, I don't know that I like this head I've been drawing, but now I'm committed to it. So she slipped out through there and took off, and I was like, this dog is really new to our family. She won't know her way back. She'll get picked up by somebody. If she gets away, we're never going to see her again, and I don't want to lose my fat Labrador, right? So I took off after her and ended up spending something like 4 hours, I think, chasing her in the woods. And I could always see her, and she always just stayed like just out of my reach. And but I was a very determined child, and neither of my parents were home. So I kept chasing her, and finally she got tired, and I got tired. And when I saw her starting to slow down, I finally sat down, and she like wandered over to me, and then I grabbed onto her, and then I had to make the very long trek home. And by the time I got home, it was like nightfall, and my aunt came out of the house because she was supposed to be babysitting me, and she was like screaming at me and was all like, I was going to call the police. You went missing. Blah, blah, blah. That dog's life isn't more important than yours. What if you'd have been kidnapped? This, that, and the other. And I don't like this particular aunt. She's an absolute cunt, and I have hated her my entire life. And even as a small child, I did not like her. And I straight up looked at her and was like, well, if you were so worried, why didn't you come help me?
Fair point.
Right? Because she knew that I was running off after the dog, but she was just figured I would chase the dog for a little while and either get her or give up. But no, so I was like, well, if you were so worried, why didn't you come help me?
Or come look for me.
Right? Like, you're going to call the police, but you won't walk down the fucking neighborhood street where you know I was going. But she was a mean old drunk anyway. And she... I don't remember if she actually hit me or if she just, like, threatened to. But she grounded me and, like, shoved me in my room until my parents came home hours later. But, yeah, so... interesting history.
Less horrible end of the story, that your dad was like, yo, I don't want a dog, but I don't want that dog to live like that. Reminds me of the Dark Souls meme with the guy dancing with the dog with the sword in his mouth, and it says, Dad says, we're not getting a dog.
10 minutes later.
Dad and dog next day.
Yep. That's 100% my dad. I love him to pieces, but, like, he's kind of an angry old dude, but he acts like an absolute hard ass, but he's actually a total softie. Like, he is always like, we're not getting an animal, we don't need this, I hate cats, I hate this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. And, like, he'll yell at you as soon as he'll look at you, but then, like, his bosses are gonna dump a dog, and, he immediately brings it home. And he particularly didn't want a dog then because my dog, my first ever pet that actually belonged to me, that I had rescued, had passed away shortly before. And my baby sister was very young at the time. And it was super duper hard on her and on me. And he was like, you know, we're not getting any more pets. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to listen to crying kids, yada, yada, yada. And then he brings home the dog. And Lena lived to a ripe old age and was, like, obese and quite happy when she died of, I think, some kind of liver problem or a tumor. I don't remember entirely, but... So the dog he didn't want, he then immediately, like, 2 days later was like, I can't stand it. It's too quiet without Lena. We need another dog.
I didn't want to get a dog, but now I love
the piece of shit.
Yeah, she's so garbage.
Yep.
My dog is garbage, everyone, and I'm not afraid to say it.
She knows what she did.
She knows what she did.
And she's proud of it, and that's the worst part.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like everyone says, if your dog is bad, it's your fault. I'm like, not with this one.
I have another interesting tale about that. Another rescue dog, my Shih Tzu.
Josh is not as bad as your Shih Tzu.
I love this dog. I do. Okay. And, like, I used to work at my local humane society, and I have a long history working with rescue animals. And I always saw...
Kristen Lange says hi.
Hello, Kristen Lange. I have a long, passionate history of being like, there are no bad dogs, just bad owners, and small dog syndrome isn't a thing. Small dog syndrome is just caused by people spoiling their shitty small dogs, which I think is for the most part true. But I am 99.9% sure that this dog is actually an imp that was Satan's lap pet that he got tired of because it was too obnoxious and mean.
Too
garbage and always fighting him for dominance, and so he reincarnated it into a Shih Tzu and dropped it in my lap when it was an adorable puppy. Okay? I have never once in my life, except for with her, thought about returning an animal to the shelter. But oh man, I thought about it so hard. This dog and
She's so adorable, but she is so garbage.
She is meaner than...
Didn't we? I think we mentioned her because we talked about...
That I based a garbage sentient weapon, evil item on her? Yes. Wow, guys, I'm bad at drawing today, and I'm really sorry. This is part of the very early process, is doing all the bad at drawing stuff. So, this dog and I have been fighting for dominance in my household for a very long time. And she used to, like, try to get up on my computer desk chair, and that was the only piece of furniture she wasn't allowed on, and she knew she wasn't allowed on it because that's where I was working. And she would get up on my lap and jump up on my stuff, and it made it impossible for me to work. So, one time...
Kristen Lange says, give me your chicken.
That's her. That's her.
That's her.
Had to have high hopes in the kitchen. I don't understand why I cannot have the chicken. Yeah, that's her.
That's 100%.
And
our cats.
Right? Oh my gosh. So she tried to get up on my lap while I was up on the computer chair, and I was like, no, Shirahoshi, down. And I just like kind of gently pushed her down because, you know, she knows that she's not allowed to be up there. And I just firmly told her no. And she looked at me, walked, I want to say 10 feet away maybe across the room, making eye contact with me almost the whole time. She kept looking back at me, and I'm watching her going, she's not about to do what I think she's about to do. She sure as hell was. She squats and pees, making hard eye contact with me the whole time.
This dog will stare you in the eye,
like she wants you to know that she can't murder you, but if she could, she would. She has the most murderous stare of any creature I have ever met.
and a snaggletooth.
And a snaggletooth. And her eye contact with her is straight up hard, right? Well, so I struggled with this dog a lot, and like I said, I used to work with the Humane Society. I have done behavior training for a million jillion animals, many of them rescues, and I took her straight up to a friend of mine who is like a professional advanced dog trainer and was like, we got to do something about this. Like, this dog is out of hand. I've done everything I know. And after several sessions, she finally told me, like, look, yeah, you can teach her tricks, just like you've trained her not to bite, but she still basically threatens to do it whenever she can. This is just her personality. And you can train her not to act on her bad urges, but this is who she is. She's a diva, and she's mean. And I was like, cool. And she was like, you know, getting another dog might help mellow her out, because having like someone else to essentially bully, or who would be alpha dog over her, would stop her. Hey, stop. I know what you're stop. So she was like, you know, getting another dog might help mellow her out, because all of her aggression wouldn't be like angled at you constantly, and she would have another companion. But yeah, this is just who she is. So then I got a big-ass German Shepherd, and big-ass German Shepherd turns out to be the world's greatest coward, who never even fought for dominance one time. And
I mean, she already lost to the cats, so...
Right. So my Shepherd was picked up by her rescue. They were called by some Home Depot employees who found her behind their store, being beaten up by feral cats because they had been putting out food for the stray cats, trying to catch them, and she found the food, and the cats like jumped her. So
it was a back alley brawl, except for it wasn't a brawl.
Except for it wasn't a brawl. It was like two scraggly stray cats beating up a big ass German Shepherd. So the rescue came and picked her up, and
you know, cats smell weakness.
Oh, they do. Oh, they do. Oh my gosh.
Just ask Siegfried and Roy. Oh, bad joke. Okay.
So yeah, I have interesting pets, and they're all a whole bunch of personality and not a whole bunch of love is the problem I'm running into. I mean, I love them all. I'm just not sure they love me back.
Shirahoshi loves anyone who has a blankie.
Yes, Shirahoshi loves anyone who has a blankie or food. And Ari loves me, but like in a really unhealthy, codependent way.
But you know Shirahoshi would kill you for chicken in a skinny minute.
Oh yeah. I'm like 99.9% sure if Shirahoshi were to live to be as old as like when I die of old age, she'd be that dog that was like eating my corpse when the people arrived.
Yeah, probably.
like you know,
I was hungry.
There's always those animals that like lay with their master's body and keep it safe and like are sad and mourn them. And then there's that one piece of shit chihuahua that was like eating the old lady's hand. That would be her, 100%. But I think she would go for the throat just to make sure I was dead first, and then dig for the heart.
I killed her.
Because that's what she does to all her fucking toys. I swear to God. Like, oh, she would also probably hump my body.
Yeah.
Dog spayed, just for the record. I'm a responsible pet owner, but
she humps everything.
She humps any toy that she has to be either substantially smaller than her or not shaped like an animal, because if it's anywhere near her size, she will aggressively hump it, just like, I mean, until I take it away. And usually she'll try to bite me if I take it away. Like, my dog is a rapist, and she's mean. And she's kind of the freaking worst. And I just went to PetSmart the other day for some fish things, and the local humane society was there doing a adopt-a-thon or whatever, and they had this dog there, and he is the smushiest, cutest face, and he's so precious and so friendly, and like, I wanted to take him home so bad, but I am just so scared of bringing another dog into my house and having it be influenced by my dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 2 years old, so I want to say, like, it wouldn't be that bad, and, like, he would have his own personality and might even help them a little. But then I think about...
Well, what if he got cloned?
Right? Like, then I think about the fact that my dog literally trained my cat to jump on the counter and push things off for her. No, that's not a lie. And I think this poor dog probably doesn't stand a chance. But he is so feckin' adorable. And I think I'd be willing to take that chance if I had adequate financial stability to be 100% sure that if something happened to him, I could take proper care of him. But I don't right now. The other day, I was afraid my wallet had been stolen, and I sat down and realized that my wallet is actually more expensive than all of its contents put together. And it was only a $30 wallet that I didn't even buy. It was a gift. So, yeah, that was a low point. And I realized that it's a low point. I probably shouldn't bring another mouth that needs food into. But oh gosh, it's such a cute, fluffy, adorable, squishy mouth. And he's got that big old pit bull smile. Oh, he's so cute. And he's so soft. His fur is like silk. It's bizarre because like boxers and pits usually have like really wiry fur like Asha's, but he is like silky and like he's got all these rolls of skin. Like he's so adorable. They gave me an application because they know a sucker when they see one, and it's still sitting in my car, and I stare at it every time I get in the car and try to convince myself not to fill it out because I know if I take that to the Humane Society, they'll give me the dog. I used to work for them. I used to volunteer for them. All my animals are up to date on their vaccines, whatever. They'll be like, oh, hell yeah, you're a normal human being who didn't just admit that you're buying this chihuahua to put him on a chain. Of course you can have a dog. Like...
Don't turn the light on.
It makes no difference to me, but you certainly can. We're working in the dark right now.
I don't mind.
I'm not used to it getting dark so fast.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Daylight savings time.
Seriously, our last stream, it was still daylight when we left, and we left like a half an hour earlier than we usually do. And then now it's getting dark outside, and it's very disturbing. It's off-putting. Anyway,
it's that time of year.
Right. Yay, seasonal depression. Yeah, I'm sad there's no snow.
Now I'm gonna make the drive home awful.
Okay, it would make the drive home awful, but then I would just be like, I don't want to drive home because the drive home is awful and back roads. Can I stay at your house and then we can binge Peaky Blinders? Like,
I wouldn't mind that either.
Right? I mean, come on.
I see.
Oh gosh.
So I was thinking we could talk about like favorite Skyrim stories because it just happens to be that anniversary.
That would be a better thing to talk about than letting me continue to talk about how much I want this fucking dog.
Yeah, right. So I played Skyrim on launch day. I pre-ordered the Mega Ultra Special Edition or whatever that came in the giant box.
With the giant statue?
Yeah, I still have my Alduin statue. I used to put him on my head because it fit perfectly.
That's delightful.
On this hat I had, because he was really pokey. It would hurt to put him straight on your head. But I had a Canadian rabbit fur toque, and it fit over that perfectly, and I could walk around with Alduin perched on my head. Anyway, well, I guess that's one of my favorite Skyrim stories.
Right?
But I got that Legendary Edition, I think is what it was called, actually. And so I played on the first day it was out, and, it was full of bugs.
Is this a bug or a feature? Yes.
Yes. Then they were
That's
bugs,
Bethesda.
though. And I actually didn't have too many problems, except with giants. So one time, this giant hit me and did so much more damage than I had health that it rocketed me into the air and never finished the death animation.
You just stayed up
It
in the air.
just stayed, and it was like, I'd like to load my game now.
Right?
So that was one of the bugs that I encountered.
I lost to Lydia to that.
Right?
And then, like, several days later, she just dropped next to me. And I was like, holy shit, Lydia, you're alive!
I'm sworn to carry your burdens.
Right? And I was just like, yeah, you fucking are!
I was happy until you were all,
Right?
No, I loved Lydia. I married her because she carried all my burdens. And I was like, I really appreciate you.
Right. I feel like that
put you through a lot.
I was about to say, I feel like that we're now just talking about my real life relationships. It's getting too close to home.
Because 9 times out of 10, the enemy didn't kill Lydia. It
Right.
was me. Well, her jumping in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I like to dual wield, so I would usually dual wield and have enchanted maces. And more than once, I'd be doing a double-handed swing, and she'd run in front, and I'd just one-shot her.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know.
The frickin' streetlights just came on, and I did not realize this until just now, but the streetlights are right in, like, blinding space of my vision. I'm gonna see if turning the office lights on helps
with that.
But yes, please continue.
And and she's a plot protected character, so
plot armor.
So she can't die, but you knock her over and she'd go ah, and it was really sad. And I'd be like, Lydia, stop it! Stop running in front of me!
Stop making me hurt you! Stop yelling at me. I want to spend time with you, you little piece of shit.
And
just sit down.
And she still stayed with me through all that. And I was like, you a good friend. Also, you have so much inventory capacity.
Right. And she's kind of hot. Yeah, it's
when you download the
slightly.
HD texture mod revamp thing, she was pretty attractive.
So, I played Skyrim on Xbox 360.
That sounds painful.
Which is not anywhere near as bad as playing Skyrim on PS3, which is what my sad brother did. But I played... I didn't actually get to play it until the week of Christmas/New Year's. Because I was working at GameStop for the launch, and I was not allowed to buy anything for myself because my mom was like, no, fuck you, I want to buy you a present, stop buying things for yourself. And so my mom implemented what was called a no-buy zone once we all got jobs, which is like anytime after like October 31st, you cannot buy yourself things because they are probably going to be purchased for you as a present, and you are going to ruin your present for yourself, you stupid shit. A rule that I should still listen to because I have done that now once in my adult life, and I felt really bad. Shout out to my friend who bought me the exact same Has Been Hotel shirt that I bought myself, but I love them both, and I wear them all the time. Anyway, I got Skyrim for Christmas, and I was house sitting for a friend that week, and she had a like dedicated entertainment room with like a big ass TV, and I thought it would be smart to play Skyrim on her big ass TV with her surround sound speakers in the middle of the night alone. And I don't know if anyone knows this about me yet, but I'm a fucking coward. And I got into that first dungeon.
With a heart condition?
With a heart condition, which is called being extra cowardly, and then a severe anxiety condition that makes it worse. And I got into that first tomb with the freaking Draugrs or whatever, and I was like, nope. So first, I sat down to play Skyrim and got all excited and like took a picture of it on the giant like 70-inch TV and sent it to all my friends and was bragging. about how I was playing Skyrim on this giant TV and yada yada, and I finally got to play. And then moments later, I was like, "Will somebody please come over? I'm scared."
I want to be alone anymore.
Right, and so then I had to.
There are a few good surprise moments in Skyrim.
Yeah, like the first freaking undead that jumps out at you after you have been kind of paranoid the whole time that one's going to jump out at you, but it's been a long time, and you're like, okay, these are clearly just scenery, and then one jumps out at you. They clearly had somebody with severe anxiety playtest that to figure out what was the absolute pressure point. But anyway, so I thoroughly scared myself and turned it off and didn't play it for another 2 days. But then once I started playing, I actually did enjoy the game very much. But I experienced a glitch that made the first ever dragon I killed follow me forever.
Yeah, that one's funny.
The bones, because it turns into the bones when you like drain its soul or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? Only a dragonborn can do that," or whatever. Well, the bones followed me fucking everywhere for the whole playthrough. It never stopped. It never went away. I would go into a city and they wouldn't follow me into the city, but then as soon as I left the city, they would drop from the sky on top of me. And you could outrun them on a horse. But then after a while, you would stop and they would just like suddenly appear behind you.
That dragon was really mad at you. It turned into a Dracolich.
Right? And not even the sexy kind.
I think there's only one sexy kind.
Than thinks there's two.
That's the same one we're talking
about. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. I don't think Ian thought that one was sexy, but... But yeah, so those are my two most interesting Skyrim stories, is that I almost scared myself out of playing the game because I'm a giant puss. And then I never actually beat the game, still to this day. It's been out 8 years and I've never beaten it, because I put 280-something hours in my first playthrough and never actually got through whatever that mission is where you're at like the ball and the high elves are there.
Oh, yeah.
That's like...
The embassy.
The embassy mission.
Yeah, that mission's awful. It's hard.
Well, I got to that mission and then wandered off and started collecting lavender and never stopped collecting lavender.
I beat the game, but I never beat the secret, like, super long, big old side quest that has a whole underground world and stuff.
Well, I then didn't play it for a long time because my family experienced a house fire in which I lost my Xbox and its hard drive, and thus my 280 hours of Skyrim. But when the Legendary Edition came out that had all of the DLCs with it, and that was I guess a year or two later, but it was on sale at some point for like $20, and I got it for like $17 because I worked at GameStop. And so I bought that and decided to start a new playthrough, but because I had played a lot of the other content, I decided to jump directly into the DLC content, which the stuff with the drow is supposed to be post-game content. And I was like level 10. And so I got into fighting these dragon priests who could one-shot me. Now,
dragon priests are rough.
Any normal human being would have been like, oh, I'm clearly not supposed to be here yet, and would have backed down and gone home and leveled up and then gone back to that mission. But I'm not a normal human being, and so I just would open the door, shoot them in stealth mode, and then shut the door really fast so that combat disengaged.
For 35 hours?
For literally 3 hours. It took me to beat one. And my sister was watching me play, and at some point she just broke down screaming at me. And she was like, you're clearly not supposed to be here yet. But it did not matter, because I was going to do it. And you know what? I got my sneak up to 100.
So there you go. You can meme.
I can. But, yeah. So, those are really the only interesting Skyrim stories I have. Okay, cool. Fine. Whatever.
I have a lot. I just can't remember them. Because, it's just...
8 years ago?
Well, and I played through I played a Nord the first time because I was like, this is a Nord story.
It totally is. It was 100%.
And then I played through I think the one we did together.
Yep.
I didn't
Which
ever finish that, but got pretty far. And then I played like 1,000 first level characters through the very beginning.
Right. I played. I tried again to play through the game when I got it on the Switch. And actually, right around when I got it on the Switch, I had a surgery on my foot. And so I told myself that, well, since I was being forced to take it easy, this would be a great time to... Yes, Orlea, we know you have an opinion. Her face is too long or too wide, but that didn't fix it. I'm going to go in the other direction. But so I was all like, yeah, I'm going to be basically off my feet for a long time. I'll play through Skyrim again. And I started this super hot, terrifying looking Altmer who had just like pure white eyes and was scary as shit. And I was going to go all like, fuck Talos, long live the Imperium, yada yada yada, whatever. Yeah, and then I played like an hour and got hit with that anesthetic from the surgery and did not play anymore. And then I tried to play again later and like I had the flu or something and I was sick and I was all, this would be a great time to play. And then I was like, this is not a good time to play Skyrim. It requires focus. And I told myself I wasn't going to collect ingredients because then if I didn't collect ingredients, I might actually get the story done. But I am a hoarder of epic proportions. And I couldn't stop myself, and I never got any of the story done. So that's my experience with Skyrim.
Well, Skyrim's I found the story fun, but it's not the focus of the game.
Yeah, I mean the game is very much about doing whatever you want and how many different ways you can do it and this, that, and the other. And they did a great job with that. And I have no problem with that. And frankly, I don't regret my 300 hours of collecting lavender. I regretted it a little when my sister confronted me with the Skyrim Hoarders, I think it was a Dorkly or a College Humor video,
right.
and was like, this is you. And I was like, shut up. And then I discovered Don't Starve, which rewards you for your hoarding instincts. And I love it, and I love it a lot.
It's like Skyrim hoarding with bad combat, where you're never going to be good.
Right. Yes, so I super love Don't Starve and have put probably twice the hours I ever put into Skyrim into Don't Starve together, because I super love
Don't Starve together is a great game.
And I well, never mind, that was going to be a sad story, so in case you guys haven't noticed, this is not going super well. I apologize. This is a particularly tricksy panel.
Yeah, it's gonna look really good when it's done, but it's.
I swear to God, it's like it's gonna look good when it's done.
We've been talking about it for days, trying to figure it out.
Yep. And yeah, that just says letters. Don't worry about it.
But it's gonna look better than Frodo when he uses the file Galadriel. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel like I should have expected that reference, but I didn't.
I try to keep Lord of the Rings references.
It just blindsided me. I was like, what? That was the Lord of the Rings reference. And I just, but there are a lot of things I should have expected and I didn't.
So Bard made some realizations about our D&D campaign, and
yes,
she's been screaming them at me, and I have to be all, I can neither confirm nor deny.
But that's his way of saying, yeah, you're right! And and now I feel like the slow kid because I didn't realize it before, and normally I'm on the ball with these things, but I was too caught up with the fact that my 340-pound male paladin is a Disney princess. And you know what? His life is really hard, and his girlfriend Peter Parkered out of existence, and then his best friend yeeted himself into a volcano, Rutland, and so he's had his own shit going on, and I didn't connect all the dots until yesterday when I was on a walk and suddenly remembered something Ranger told me a little over 2 years ago, and then everything clicked. And then I spent a good, I turned around on my walk to head home because I didn't have my phone, and I spent basically the whole walk home screaming to myself. And then I got home and I was like, I know what you're up to. I know what you're fucking doing. But I can't say it, because if I say it over Messenger, then you'll just be able to be like, nope. And I won't know if you're lying to me or not. And then I'll spend months obsessively trying to gain the subtext from your text message. So then he got here and is all sick, and then I pounced on him and I was like, aha! And yeah, so there's that. I spend a lot of time thinking about D&D.
Well, let's just suffice it to say that as DM, I play the long game.
Yes, he does, and I know this, right? So like I just should have got it before, but no spoilers or anything. Because I know some of our friends who play watch this stream. But yeah, so there is that.
It's the most rewarding part of being the Dungeon Master, is watching all your diabolical machinations come together, and then people appreciate them.
Right. Or they don't appreciate them and they scream at you because you killed their dad.
Well, you know.
Sometimes, gosh, this feckin' panel. I am just, guys, I'm gonna let you know the struggle is really real. I swear at some point this is gonna look like it's supposed to, but today is not that day.
I don't want the struggle being real. I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Shoot. Are they even gonna let you go to work tomorrow?
I'm gonna pretend to not be sick. I'm only there for 2 hours.
I think that's gonna work so well.
We'll see. If I show up, they have to pay me for an hour, so.
I would just like to point out that they're the ones who got you feckin' sick to begin with, so right. They can deal with it.
Anyway, Eintai is super cool.
Yeah, she is. She's really cool, and
we're hoping
crazy.
That magic effects are going to look really cool in our comic.
Yeah.
So far they have. Our holy magic has been great so far.
Thank you. I try. But, arcane magic, one of the things that I like about arcane magic is that I have, I think, a little more freedom in how it's delivered, because every arcane caster is so different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a sorcerer casts very differently than a bard or a wizard does. And
the trappings can be whatever you want them to be.
Yep.
And give a lot of flavor to it.
Yes, and Eintai in particular is just such a super intense person that, Cheshire's a bard. We've all assessed this. There will come a point where they cast magic. It's not going to look like this.
No, it's not.
Oh boy, it's not going to look like this.
Their magic.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Wow, gosh, why? So I hope you didn't come here for art. Stop what you're getting.
Speaking of art, how do you make glow effects on digital art?
Well, there are a lot of ways. In fact, this will give me something to distract myself from how badly I'm doing right now. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple ways for you guys really quick on a new layer here. So the way that I first learned to do it is the same way I always did glow effects with traditional art or paint or etc. And that is just layering color, right? So you have your dark, and then you go lighter, and lighter, and then usually you give it a pop color right here.
Right.
So that it kind of has the effect of radiating or glowing. And then what sells that direction, though, if you're going to do that, is you have to make your lighting appropriate to the light source, right? So, like, if somebody's eyes are glowing, the area around their eyes has to reflect that light.
Like with Alex's torch.
Right.
In previous pages.
Yeah, this is how I have always created Alex's torches. Now, there are other ways, easier ways, ways that sensible human beings use, like this tool right here, the glow brush.
It just does it all for you.
It just does it. Now, the thing is, I don't like the glow brush as much because it is hard to control and its intensity is very intense, and it takes a long time to get used to. I have used it on a few things, like when I was writing these letters right here, I used it because they're very, very small. But I don't use it often. What I most often do is a combination of this technique with setting the layer to like a glow setting or a light setting. Dang it, well that just messed up, didn't it? Alright, so this is the best demonstration of it, even though it looks terrible, is this soft glow. That's not a soft glow, that's a very intense glow, but it's because I already applied a glow effect by painting it that way. But so if you were to say, just make a random pen stroke on a soft glow layer, it gives it the glow effect. That is how I would do it most often nowadays, because it is just frankly easier. But with things like people's eyes, that I am very particular about, I do those by hand. I do Alex's fire by hand. I did not do the campfire by hand, because that's a pain in the ass, but I did the torch by hand because it has to move constantly with him and the direction that he is moving in. But yeah, so glows in digital art. And you know what? I bet there are even more ways to do it. Those are just the 3 ways that I know and that I have used. Pardon me.
They look good when they're done right, and if they're not done right, they look, horrible.
Like that. Yeah, I know.
What you described is a lot of how you do it in painting, and there's this one studio that does model painting, and everyone always accuses them of doing way too many glow effects.
But they look cool.
They do, but they do too many glow effects. And it's funny because they overdo it, but they do it so well, it looks so good.
Yeah. I got news for you. If I could paint glow effects on a model, all of my models would be covered in glow effects.
I know, they look really good.
Because they look kick-ass.
They did this lunar dwarf army, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
All the dwarves looked like they'd been cast in lunar light, and they had candles and torches and lanterns.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to bitch about that? That's rad. Well, the internet's going to bitch about that, because the internet's never happy with anything.
People do, because they charge so much for it, because it takes all the extra time.
Well, if you're going to commission them, you can ask them to not do it.
Yeah.
But if you want to just buy something that they did, then you pay the price for the talent that is doing it.
For sure, and they deserve it. They're really good.
Yeah. I would love to commission a Sylvaneth army and an Alariel.
So expensive.
Frankly, I would love to commission an Alariel. I just want an Alariel so bad. She's so beautiful. And I was like, I could play like an epic level druid and this could be my model, but then I'm like, but I want to be a sea druid. Yes, I know I hate beetles, but she's so awesome. And that beetle is so gigantic, it's not scary. That's just a monster.
Isn't that?
It's not skittery, and it's not flying into my hair and getting trapped with its horrible little hook legs.
Now it just stabbed you with its horrible hook legs.
I'm okay with that, okay? Kill me, fine. Get tangled in my hair or latch onto my lip with your horrible little... Oh, gosh. Oh, I hate beetles. They're so scary. Beetles are so scary. They're so gross and horrible. Yeah. But Alariel's beetle is cool.
Lariel's beetle is cool.
Because a Lariel's beetle is just a monster that looks vaguely like a beetle. No, that's all.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
Well, thanks for describing how you do glow effects.
Yeah.
I know we've done quite a few because of the night scene.
Right. And the only way there's any way to see anything is glow effects in night scenes, because Biss is so just immensely dark and shit. I mean, like, not that, you know what I mean. Like, it's already dark during the day. So if we don't have multiple light sources for the party during the night scenes, you just won't see anyone. Or it just won't look appropriate. And yeah.
Unless you're Lowen.
I could do that. Right? He's so bright. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, he's all like,
and he's like, I don't know why the dark scares you. And Alex is like, 'cause fuck you, that's why. Which I think, frankly, Alex could just answer every question with that, and it's acceptable because he's Alex. And fuck you, that's why.
Recently got some feedback that Alex has the strongest characterization. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Cheshire is pretty highly characterized too, but just not as a strong character.
They aren't characterized, yeah. It's not in a good way.
Right. They are highly characterized as being scared and not good at things. Which is why most people don't pay attention to how highly characterized they are.
Right.
I did have somebody, a friend of ours actually, though, reading through it, and give me 1 second, I gotta look at what page it was. It's whatever page that Alex is talking about the undead being everywhere and everyone looks scared. And he's like, yeah, I get it, but like, what is wrong with Cheshire? And I'm like, Cheshire is scared. He's like, but their face is just so, I'm like, scared. Because Cheshire is scared, because that's the healthy reaction to what you're being told right now. And that's just always Cheshire's face. And then I had another friend tell me that...
Kristen Lang says, I'm off to Scouts. Good luck. I enjoyed the show.
Oh, well, good luck with scouting, and may it not be as dangerous as Alex's brand of scouting.
We don't ask the kids to do that.
Right. So I'm glad that you joined us and enjoyed the stream, even though I just undid everything I did on the whole stream. All right, we're gonna try this again, guys. Let's just. So, been having a struggle bus of a week, and it has been definitely affecting the art process. And then my program updated, and everything was different, and I had to figure out how to make it not different anymore because I can't handle that. And then in the course of all that, somehow I lost all the progress I had made on the page previously. So I appreciate your patience and forgiveness for this being probably the worst art stream in the history of mankind.
There's probably been one worse.
All right. The internet's a big place. I'm sure there's one worse, but this one is not good.
Well, it's entertaining at least.
It's a fine stream. Yeah. It's a fine stream talking about Skyrim and childhood pets, but it's not a good art stream.
Well, speaking of D&D characters, I finished... this isn't going to sound like it's related, but I finished Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Ooh.
And they got the whole final scene... where it describes what happened to everybody and who married who, because it's an elaborate dating sim.
Yes.
And
it's all these swords and tactics getting in the way of my waifus.
There's this guy Hubert. He's this lawful evil, maniacal servant of the Empress, who is not lawful evil at all, but he does all the dirty things in the shadows that need to be done in the Empire for her.
I see.
And he and
Please
my
tell me he gets
sniper
with the Empress. Dang.
No, he and this sniper worked really well together because if they were high physical resistance, he finished him off, and if they were high magic resistance, she finished him off. So they had a really big bond. Oh wow, the bond that then in the end they got married, and it says that they waged a war in the shadows as a duo together, killing and slaughtering people like crazy, the enemies of the Empress. And I was like, wow, that's what Zay wants.
100%.
Because they're both so edgy.
Yeah.
They're like edge masters. She's like the quiet, edgy sniper, and he's the like maniacal, edgy, crazy magician.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And
Zay is a hot topic shopping sniper.
Right? And I was like, it'd be like Zay finding
Joe.
Yeah.
And having them both be straight instead of so demisexual they're basically asexual and a lesbian.
Right. But it just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Just like, wow, that's Zay if he found a murder waifu.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because they both, every interaction they ever had, they were like, I find what you do you're so good at what you do. I almost find it attractive.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I can totally see him falling for someone because they are, like, as intimately knowledgeable about death as he is. As it stands, he hasn't lost his virginity because he never loses, but...
And see, that's Hubert, too.
Yep.
He was all, my only love is for the queen, and I never lose, and I have too much duty and devotion.
And Zay's like, I don't understand the subject matter, but I know I don't lose, and my only intimate relationship is with death, because he is the most obnoxiously edgy character I could have possibly made.
Do you want to talk about it over a game of Catch, son?
I'd like that.
My character in that campaign has ultimate dad energy, apparently.
Right. Well, he does, and the worst part is that, like, Zay's an orphan, of course, because how else do you get to be that edgy, right? Like, you don't grow up like that because you had good parents.
Right. But he was alone, so he didn't become a bard.
Right? He had the stats to be a bard. By God. I hope I roll stats that well from 1,000. Best line of stats I've ever rolled, and it was for this edgy piece of shit who doesn't understand why other people have penis beards. Because he doesn't know what pubic hair is.
He figures it's because he's a dwarf.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's fun.
He's out of touch for sure.
I don't get to be a player very often, so
Yeah,
I go in for my crazy dwarf berserker.
We have actually never gotten to play a campaign. Both be players. We started one, but it only lasted like 2 sessions and then died, which was a shame because Ranger played a nymph and I played a treant, and they were beautiful. Yeah, so this has been our first time actually really being able to play together and not one of us or the other DMing. Look, you ignored me all day, and now you want to give me all these kisses. Sorry, guys, it's my parakeet. So it's been a lot of fun, but it's hilarious because he is chaotic good, right? Valin is, and Zay is lawful evil. And the rest of the party, like, he absolutely hates them, but he likes the chaotic good guy with all the super dad energy who's a bard, when he's like the sneaky stealth murder sniper assassin. And the other 2 members of our party are just like, how is this happening? What is going on?
Right.
Why do these 2 get along? And there's not any real explanation for it, but it's there. We realized, like, straight up when we were making these characters that either they're going to be, like, super duper murder bros, or they're going to hate each other. I'm glad they turned out to be super duper murder bros, and then also that you had so much dad energy. Wow, that's just not even what his hair looks like. Orlea has an opinion, and it's a strong one. But yeah, it's been delightful, and our poor cleric just wants to be a good person, and
Some real struggles.
has struggled with that, and don't you dare fly into the window, you stupid child. Okay, she got it. um, give me 1 second, guys.
We had a bird emergency.
I gotta rescue my stupid child.
She was like, I'm a birdbarian. Talk about me.
Yeah, I know. She decided she wanted to go home and sit in her cage, but her wings are clipped and she was like, so rather than admit defeat and come back to me, she decided to fly to the window and then to the wall and then stick to the nearest thing she could because fuck you, Mom, that's why. She's a special thing.
Special little snowflake.
Yeah, she sure is. She's all white and pretty and delightful and leaves white fluff everywhere.
Yes, she does.
She's a special little snowstorm
And
nowadays.
white poops.
And white poops. I'm sure there's one in my hair. I'm like worried about lice, but I can never even tell if it's like, is this a bird poop or is this like... Oh dear.
I don't see any in your hair.
Thanks. Like I said, guys, it's been a long week. And just so you know, if this page comes out and it looks completely different than this, yeah, well, that's all I have to say. You saw how much I struggled, so if it changes, it changes. It'll still look good, I think. I just happened to pick the most ridiculously difficult angle at which to demonstrate emotion, and also like a... I'm tired, guys. I'm tired.
Yeah, art is hard.
Art is hard, and I'm not even drawing her eyebrows right at this point. This isn't even what her eyebrows look like. Her eyebrows look better than that because her eyebrows are on
Well,
fleek.
if you want to take a break, we can show everybody November's pins.
Oh yeah. Do we have any November's pins?
I mean, not maybe. You can pull up the art.
I don't remember what they are. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry guys. I'm really 100% not on the ball. But we did make some really delightful pins for November, and they're very relatable content. Let me just find them.
I can tell you're getting a little tired. It's okay.
Look, I'm trying. Okay. Everyone hold on 1 second, because I don't want to open an unknown file in case it's not the right file, because it could be spoilers or it could get our YouTube channel shut down. So, hold please. Gotta open a second program.
I believe the file you sent to me was meme pin.
Yeah, that's not what I saved it on as my computer because I'm an idiot. I saved it as that to send it to you so that I wasn't sending you gibberish text like I always do.
Okay.
Or if I did save it as that, it's just not where I thought it would be. But it's okay because I think that's the Automacon pin. Okay, that's not it. So then it must be under... Oh, I did save this. Okay, well, I found it. Alright, crisis averted. It was the file I thought it was. But I just, on this very same pin template, I have made some not very appropriate. But why did these look so weird? Hang on. Let me look at the shape and see that. Okay, so yes, these are going to be our November pins. They are, we think, very relatable content. We have some very sleepy Nerida, and some very angry Eintai, and some very sleepy Mimi, and the faceplant zombie, which actually is my favorite zombie, I think, that I've drawn. Or second favorite zombie, probably.
We were looking for pins. We're like, what are we going to make pins?
And we're staring at this and like, that's a big mood.
Am I right?
And yeah, 100%, because that is today. For sure. It's been a very long day, and I've been up too long, and we'll be up too late, I'm sure. But yeah, so these are going to be
November's 1-inch pins.
November's 1-inch pins. And hopefully we'll have some really cool magic effect art for November's 3-inch pin. But, you know, we thought it would be cool to do, like, something a little more comedic, because actually all of these moments have been relatively serious, but especially this one, I dare say, it's just a dead person. But they are, you know, they're funny out of context. There were a couple others that we looked at that would have been really good as, like, out of context Monday memes, but unfortunately they didn't fit into the, like, pin format, because most of them were, like, highly rectangular images. But yeah, so those are going to be our pins. And
send those out to patrons, and then also they'll be available at Atomicon.
Yes. And, you know, as we said before, if you up your pledge or you sign up for our Patreon the week of Atomicon, you will get the shiny, awesome Cheshire on a Turtle Atomicon pin alongside your hashtag relatable Mondays pins. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun making these. More fun than I did making any of their source images, I think. But mostly that's because I just had to write the word Mondays on them and giggle. I particularly identify with either, I think, this Nerida or this faceplant zombie. I don't look anywhere near as graceful or hot as Mimi does when I'm tired. And usually I don't get that level of angry and disturbed until at least Wednesday. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, we'll have these available as pins at con, as well as a couple of other exclusive con pins, and we will have some sweet magnets and stickers and all sorts of cool merch. We wanted to do t-shirts, but that was not feasible for this con because it's our first ever con and it's pretty small. And we haven't reached that big con stretch goal where we can make tons of merch for con.
Yeah, we're dipping into personal funds for sure right now.
And then some. But yeah, so that's gonna be those, and I think that is cool. And I was wondering if I had saved some of what we're gonna have as stickers, but I'm not 100% sure if I did.
I don't
remember. We will have some prints though.
Oh, that was a sticker.
Yep. So this is gonna be one of our stickers, because, you know, Shale's crazy face and Oriella. I think this was the single most characterizing image of the two of them standing next to each other for both of them, because that is just them in a nutshell. and I was kind of fond of that particular series of pages. And then we are going to have, I believe, this very, very scared Cheshire pin. I have this one on the back of my laptop because... Sticker, yeah, sorry. It is a sticker. I think they're 2-inch stickers?
Yeah.
2.5, something like that. I have this one on the back of my laptop because this is a big mood for me all the time, and I love Cheshire, and they get me. And then this will be our really sweet magnet design.
Did we not do a sticker of that too, or was it just the magnet?
I think we also did a sticker of this one, and it's just the art, and I don't think it has Threads of Fate on it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we did a sticker of this one, and then a sticker of the cast banner. But this one as a magnet is so feckin' cool.
Yeah, I have that on my magnet at home.
And they're like business
fridge at home.
Business card size, I think. So they're like 2-inch by 3-inch. And so yeah, this one is the one that I really like. Like as a magnet, I think that's super rad. And like it's all gory and stuff. Also, if you missed out on any of our October pins, we will have any of our previous pins. We'll have a couple of those left over. So if you want to complete your set, come see us at Atomicon, because these were our October pins, and we've had our whole chibi sets for the previous 2 months, and an entire set of the cast for the 2 months before that. Is crazy to think that we've been doing this for 5 months. I don't know where my life went. We'll also have this very dramatic, super hot Alex sticker, because if there wasn't an Alex sticker, I would have rioted. Because I like him a lot. And yeah, I think there may be some others. I'm not 100% sure, but we're also going to have prints. We have some really cool framed collages that we're selling of all the character art, and then we have prints of all the individual character art that's like on the website. And they're small, and they're going to be like $4. They're super affordable, but they're really nice. I think they came out really well. I have an Alex one hanging in my room right now. So yeah, we're going to have all sorts of cool stuff, and it is right around the corner.
2 weeks.
Yeah, like
less.
I'm panicking a little.
Less than 2 weeks.
Yep.
It'll be over in 2 weeks.
Gosh, yeah. So, because it's the 22nd, 23rd, 25th, or 24th.
Oh yeah, I probably haven't told my boss.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna be working that Friday.
Yeah. I was supposed to have a chiropractor appointment that Friday, and I moved it to that Tuesday instead, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to be here. But I don't like seeing my chiropractor on Tuesdays, because there's a member of his staff that I don't particularly care for who's there on Tuesdays.
But I guess as always, shout out to our patrons.
Yes.
We purchased all the con materials that more experienced congoers say we need, and
yep.
We're very happy with that. What we've gotten
to set up our stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and that support has been the only reason we've been able to fund this con at all. Because frankly, like, we otherwise wouldn't be there.
No, wouldn't have been able to afford it.
It wouldn't even been able to afford to go.
Right.
But, so our patrons take good care of us, and I super appreciate your belief in us and your enjoying our content, even when sometimes it's like this.
Well, it's only like this during the stream. Sometimes.
Right? But
thankfully, thanks to you guys, we have the time and the money to get it finished.
Yes.
Promote it. Well, I guess mostly what the Patreon money is, it helps us promote it.
Yes. Because, like I said on the last stream, this is my dream, being able to we'll tell any story through art, but especially this story, because this story is just our absolute baby. And I have grown up with an anxiety disorder that controlled me the better part of my life, and I never really thought I was going to do anything with my art, because anytime anyone like asked me for something or tried to commission me, or there was like any pressure, I would just shut down and absolutely freak out. And seeing the immense amount of support and the positive responses that the project has had like a super positive effect on me and my confidence levels. And I really do want to put out good content for you guys. And I can't express how much I appreciate that you guys back this, because this is my dream, and like I've worked in retail for a long time, and I'm ready to do something that I actually love for people who deserve it. And you guys deserve cool content, and I am super looking forward to potentially meeting some fans at Atomicon. I think that would be awesome, and at other cons in the future, and all sorts of stuff. I love talking to people about the comic and about the stories surrounding it, and it's great fun, and it's been a wild ride, but it's only been possible because you guys believed in us when we had like 5 very confusing prologue pages, and that was it. And
in a couple of years, they'll make more sense.
Yes, they will. And that's the thing, is to be fair, they were confusing deliberately, right? Because if they weren't confusing, they would be like hugely spoilerific. But in a couple years, when it hits, it's going to hit hard. Sometimes when that realization hits you.
I wish I could play the One Punch Man sound effect right now.
Please don't. Yeah, so guys, I am exhausted, and it's dark, and it's cold, and Ranger is sick, and so I feel like we're probably wrapping up here. I know not a whole lot of progress appears to have been made, but unfortunately just a large amount of my process is erasing the things I drew and redrawing them. And you guys are privy to that process today because I didn't get it done during the rest of the week. But hopefully we will still have a page to show you, on Sunday. And if, God forbid, that is not the case, then I love you, and it will be up shortly. And yeah, I think for the most part, our update schedule is going to be not really changing, except for, I think, on the week of Christmas and New Year's, I believe we're not updating.
Yes.
So we should be streaming, we should be updating on the 17th, streaming again on the 25th, which will be right after con, so probably a lot of cool con stuff to talk about. And then there should be an update on the 1st of December and the 15th, I believe.
And then we'll be skipping what would be the 29th update.
Yep, and we'll be updating on the 5th instead, so that we can like kind of see our families. I hear my family are cool people. That's the rumor I've been told. But I don't know. It's been so long, But yeah, so also, I mean, it's holidays, and like everybody wants to spend time with their family, and we get that. We're part of that, and I'm gonna try to come up with some cool holiday art maybe to post in the meantime, but please don't hold me to that, because I might spend my whole holiday week asleep. And eating food with my mom.
The noblest of uses of the holiday.
Right? Well, so like my mom is super, super sweet. She's like the nicest person ever in the world. And I'm a vegetarian, not for dietary reasons, but because I do not approve of the meat industry's way of handling things and et cetera, et cetera. And so she decided that she was going to go buy a cruelty-free turkey for Thanksgiving and Christmas so that I could like enjoy eating with them. And I was like, Mom, I would have enjoyed eating with you guys anyway. And she was like, No, I'm just it's fine. I'm doing it. This way everybody can eat and like still feel good about themselves. And I'm just like, all right. And so she's the sweetest, coolest mom in the world, and that's gonna be a really fucking expensive turkey. So yeah, I'm gonna eat it.
Right.
Even though it will probably upset my tummy because I haven't had meat in a minute and a half now, but I'm gonna eat it because it's an expensive turkey that was purchased with much love. So, and then I'm probably gonna turkey nap.
Turkey's not terrible. I mean, it makes you sleepy, but it's not heavy like a red meat. So
Yeah, that's true.
hopefully it's good. Well, I'm sure it'll be good because your mom made it.
Right?
But even good for it won't upset your tummy.
Yeah, my parents make a mean turkey. Like, my goodness. My dad, he cooks a lot of things that I don't like, but turkey's not one of them. My dad cooks a mean turkey, and so does my mom. They disagree with each other's turkey making methods, but I'm just here to say that I grew up with both of them making turkeys alternating years, and they taste almost exactly the same. Please don't tell them I told you that, but like, because I love them and they're good turkeys, but like, it's a turkey.
It's a turkey. Yeah, how different can it be?
It's a turkey, and they both season it well, and nobody burns it, and it's like, so once you've covered those two bases,
it's good.
It's good. It's fine. It's a turkey.
Well, I won't tell them, but they may watch the stream one day.
Look, if my mom or dad watches these streams, that's not what they're gonna be mad about.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what if my client's mom ever watched it? And I was like, yeah, she wouldn't make it through. To the point where I was like, I was just gonna go to work anyway.
Right?
Or to that point.
Shout out to client's mom. That wasn't coughing. That was
That was me being a
that was
Pokemon called coughing.
that was breathing with style.
I was cosplaying coughing.
Oh yeah, see, Galarian coughing. He's rad.
Super excited for that though.
I mean, but
It's like next week or something, right?
Yeah, it is right around the corner. But like,
if I'm playing that the whole time at con, I mean.
My Little Ponyta though.
Right?
Gigi and I love My Little Ponyta so much.
I would see what the Rapidash looks like.
I bet it's beautiful. Frankly, I look at that Ponyta, and all I can see is Princess Celestia as the Rapidash.
Didn't get the fairy type.
Which makes no fucking sense. I'm sorry. Like, look, I don't understand Pokemon because I don't understand their typing because why isn't Charizard a dragon? But like, they're like, oh, it's a psychic fire type, and I'm like, it's got a rainbow mane, and it's
it might
tiny.
Just be psychic. I don't
it's
know.
a fucking fairy.
I don't remember. Yeah, it's a psychic fairy for sure.
Like, what the fuck?
But Galarian Weezing's.
But Galarian Weezing is a fucking fairy. I'm like,
what? Pokemon's never been about making sense.
No, clearly not. Like,
love you, Pokemon. Love you so much.
Love you so much.
But
I was so excited to see Thank You Game Freak trending for as long as it was, and everybody talking about like their childhood stories with Pokemon and how it influenced them as an artist or as a creator or what have you.
I know, and a bunch of people got mad about that. They were like, that doesn't erase the mistakes they made. And it's like, yeah, but they've done a lot of good too.
Okay. But here's the thing. It's not like they've made any kind of radically socially negatively impactful mistakes.
No.
Okay, it's not like Game Freak is staffed by Nazis.
Apparently they're not great to their employees, but that's every game company.
It's almost every game company, and it's especially every Japanese developer.
Yeah.
Like, I just have terribly unfortunate news that any Japanese
work culture
work culture is just
bad for
bad.
your health.
It's bad for your health, and it revolves around pressure and overachieving and pressure to overachieve.
And lots of drinking.
And lots of drinking. The social expectation that you will go drink with your superiors, and if you don't, your job will never go farther than it does.
Alas.
You know, and hey, like...
I guess we're going to end the stream a little early, so thanks, everybody.
Yes, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys at Atomicon, and if not, we'll see you the day after Atomicon, because we'll be streaming again.
Another stream.
And, you know, hopefully when this page comes out, everybody forgets what it looked like at this stage. We love you, and